Hey, welcome back everybody. Today we're talking about big things coming for us sooner than we think in Rust Console Edition for the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, next generations, and everything in between. And I'm Jade Monkey. So you're probably saying, hey Jade, we've heard this before. These have been kind of lingering for a while. What are you talking about? We've talked about these ad nauseum. Well, here's the thing. We have had a lot of updates obviously come through the pipeline already. We have a lot of big ticket items, electricity, industrial, a lot of things and dependencies that we need for things like cars, electricity. We already have those things out of the way. We already have them in the game. And now we have some big ticket items that are left for us. And I honestly think we're probably going to see these a lot sooner than we think. And I'll kind of break down some of the timeline here. But let me give you a little bit of history. Because some people will be like, yeah, right, cars, whatever. No, for real. Not only do we know that they've been cooking it for some time, now that we have custom servers, and we know that when we fly around like this in our custom servers, that even the old generation can handle it. Check that off the list. Now with the terrain update, well, this is obviously on PC right now, but with the terrain update that we got performance increases, which really opens things up for cars and other things like, I don't know, the helicopter, right? Things that weren't previously on the table. We'll talk about more of that here in a second. And we're like, okay, that's cool. Also, when custom servers came in, and this is probably a review for most of you, but it's worth mentioning, we saw evidence that the junkyard was in there. We couldn't spawn it in, but there was a lot of like back-end stuff that we saw, and I was like, We lived through all these changes when they came through on PC, so we kind of have an idea when they're about to break out on our side. Also, as we were doing the C Labs beta, beta, I guess it was a test, we did notice some other things as well. Some secrets deep in the labs. I'll go ahead and link that video now in the upper right hand corner. So all these things really point to the fact that they've done a lot of major work, and we do know that cars are on the table. And it's definitely a thing. We actually saw car parts in there. And I was like, hey, those didn't exist. Like those physical parts we stick in the car. Let me show you. Don't really exist until you have the vehicle. So we know at the very least they've been testing it for quite some time, and it looks like the performance is there. Now to kind of peel off here, because I know a lot of people, like right when this came out, a lot of people were like, hey, they tested this stuff and they said it wasn't possible. Yes, with the old terrain, but now we've got a lot more performance. Because remember, all of this has to run on both consoles, base and the next generation. So base would be like PS4 and the Xbox One, and then next gens would be PS5 and the Xbox Series, either one, X or the S series. Anyways, here's the thing. I think if we do get helicopters, it could come in, we are going to get helicopters. It'll come in two different flavors. Either we get the first wave that's going to be this chunky boy here and our mini, or it's going to be all three at once. Now, this is the faster of the three. But my guess is, because actually this came in first for us on PC, and then this, and then this. But that doesn't necessarily mean we'll have the same timeline, because we are a hybrid. But a lot of people were saying back in the day, and it was openly in the Discord, they said, hey, they prototyped this, and the old systems couldn't handle it. But that has changed. And you're probably saying like, hey, Jade, how do you know? Well, as I said before, the terrain update. But check this out. Anybody remember this bad boy? The survey from, I think it's almost 2 years ago now. There's a lot of things on this list that, actually, I don't think I have the other part of the list that we need for this. But if you actually go through and start checking these things, no, there is one right here. If you start checking these things off, modular vehicles are on there, but also the Mini was on this list as well. So they wouldn't have put it on there unless they could execute it. Again, for some people, this isn't probably crazy news. So here's the thing. I do know the game desperately needs some form of verticality. And who knows, maybe that quality of update gives us some parachutes and some hot air balloons, and that would be cool. But at some point, these are coming, and they have to be coming either by the end of this year on testing branch, or at the beginning, or even all the way up to halfway through 2025. So you're probably saying, okay, that's crazy. What do you mean possibly this year? Well, think about it. Our development cycle has switched to a monthly rotation. And since the quality of life update isn't even on PTB as of recording this, it makes me wonder about a few different things with the timeline, right? So we may not see these on main by the end of the year, maybe. And again, this is me just talking, having the conversation, putting out some speculation and adding things up as I see them. But the thing is, maybe this will hit testing branch beforehand. Could be these guys, could be these guys. My personal gut feeling, and again, I'm speculating here, kind of taking a stab in the dark, I'm thinking it's going to be the cars may be hitting PTB by the end of the year. But here's my thought. So if we are truly in still a monthly development rotation, that means by the end of October, whatever quality of life update that we don't have yet is going to be out there on main branch, right? So what's the next thing that's coming in after that? We don't have the dev blog on that. So these big ticket items have to be coming in, and if they don't come in on testing branch by the end of this year, it has to be at the beginning of the next, right? So it's either going to be these or these. I don't think there's really much room for anything else. Like the quality of life update may bring some other cool things, yes, but these are huge ticket items. This is such a major part of the game. I mean, dare I say, the mini is the most important thing, because we have a massive problem out there for, walls. Anybody that's a solo or a small team, you run into a Zerg with 5, 6 walls, whatever, and you're like, come on, man, we don't have like a good option. So having the verticality is a big deal. And I know some people are actually kind of fighting the fact that helicopters could be in the game. And I'm like, dude, it's such a part of Rust. And even the people that are haters, once you have it for a week, you'll go, okay, I get it. I mean, it's such a big deal. I mean, think about it. You're a small guy. You want to go to the outpost or something? Jump in this bad boy and zip over there. Mess with the vending machine. Hit the old drone shop, whatever. You can do it with this. You can probe other bases. You can do surveillance. It's awesome. If you're a bigger team, you can load up your Zerg and take this chunky boy if you want. Or even this bad boy, which is kind of for, dare I say, the attack helicopter is really for taking out like turrets and stuff. I mean, obviously for attacking other air vehicles, but this is definitely one of those things where you're like, hey, this can definitely help. Anyways, all of these are purchased at the Bandit Camp. It's such a big deal. My personal thought is that these will be coming in at some point next year, and I have a feeling these guys are definitely going to be next year, but I'm kind of thinking maybe our next testing branch, because remember, it's going to go in, we have something coming up here, is most likely going to be cars. I think cars are going to be first. But here's the other thing I was thinking about with the timeline here. And I'm sorry if this is a rant, but like this just like occurred to me. So like obviously they're not in the United States, 011. So they're not going to be celebrating Thanksgiving. Why would they? It's not America, right? It's not the USA. So my thought is November is still going to be bumping for them, right? So they're going to be pushing something out. I'm just assuming that most people aren't going to be around or doing much around December. I mean, even Face Punch is kind of that way. But we still have a solid month and a half of stuff that's going to be pushed out. So a lot of these big ticket items are on the table. And who knows, maybe these guys are for 2025, and maybe we get some other big monument like the missile silo or something before the year goes out. Who knows? But these are on the cusp. We know these are definitely happening. Now with that terrain update and the minis being on the table, we do know that these have a lot of work already before we even heard anything about the cars. But I think these guys are probably going to be the first thing that we get in there. But ideally, I think if the quality of life update had minimum parachutes, and then we got cars on like testing branch before the year's out, that would be like, bing, like the best year ever. So I think that's going to be kind of my wish. I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that one, right? Also, as another side note, a bit of a ramble here. Obviously, we're on PC, and there's the new terrain update. A lot of people are asking, when's that like terrain update 2.0 or whatever for us? This has to settle in a little bit, right? This is going to help us because this will not only looks better, but I think it's going to also help with performance. The fidelity went up. Remember, this engine is the Unity engine, and it's not great on performance. So like any kind of like gains they can get both from Face Punch or 011 is going to be good for us because we're on limited hardware, right? Where our resource pool is much smaller. So anyways, to kind of seal up that rant, I don't think this will be out until, I mean, earliest, like halfway through 2025, probably a bit later, but who knows. So don't expect this anytime soon. But also with this update here, with the terrain update over on PC, just kind of a view into the future, those new G-Rocks, Anvil Rocks are all back, like the Horseshoe Rock too, so a lot of cool stuff to look forward to in the future. But hey, before we're thinking about any of this, we need realistic modes of transportation other than the horses. I do love horses. And we need some kind of verticality. We need hot air balloons, parachutes, or any of these helicopters. I mean, let's be honest. It's the mini all day long, right? So anyways, these are the big things that are coming up for us in Rust Console Edition. I'm very excited for it. As soon as we get some more information, as soon as we start peeling back more of that update that's going to be coming out, the quality of life, we'll be running it. If we find any more clues, we'll let you guys know ASAP. But either way you cut it, it's going to be a fantastic year and a lot of exciting stuff coming up for us in the very, very near future. So can't wait for it. We're also running the custom server on my side, so if you guys want to jump in, I think the Halloween event is active by the time you guys are seeing this, so you can jump in there. It's also on main branch as well, so good time to loot up and kind of have a good time. My server is made for, what do you call it, a faster game type, right? A faster, you know, so if you're kind of late in the wipe, you can kind of come in and have a good time. Server ID's right there, so if you guys are interested, you guys can always jump over there. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys in the next live stream / video. Also, if you guys are looking for a good anti-raid setup, this is a very interesting build. If you haven't seen this already, it should already be up on the end screen now. And we'll see you in the next one. Love you. Bye.